Welcome back, my dear students, in our course Writing Business Reports. In our lecture today, we will discuss the topic number 5 and 6, how to write an effective business report, what are stages of report writing. Reports are documents which give both the reader information and ask the reader to do something with that information. Reports can be to suggest new ideas and options, to ask people to accept a point of view, to influence decisions, to ask people to make choices between alternative recommendations. The purpose which the reader looking for the report, the implication of the report reading, and there are an important steps to write business reports like planning, gathering, drafting, and further drafting, editing. Here some examples of report objectives: to examine the financial situation of the firm and recommend a new strategy, to suggest new ways of raising capital, to evaluate current recruitment policies and to present new ways to plan staffing, to analyze sales and suggest new markets. And in this point, we will discuss what are stages of report writing. In the report writing, there are 3 stages to report writing. The first stage is planning, the second stage is writing, and the third stage is the revision, and we will discuss every stage in details. The first step is planning. Planning is a very important stage in report writing as it establishes the purpose, context, and structure of the report. It answers why, what, how, who, and when planning questions. In the planning, the writer should define the purpose and scope of the report, consider the audience or the reader, gather information for the report, design the structure of the report. The first point in planning: define the purpose and scope of the report. The first step is to define the purpose of the report. The purpose of the report could be share an idea, answer a question, solve a problem, or share information. And the second point, consider the audience or the reader. An important aspect of report writing is to consider your audience. Readers of your report may be involved in the problem solving or decision making process, so your job is to make it easy for them to understand the information and data present. In order to make reading the report easier, then think in terms of the reader. The third point here, gather information or gather the important information for the report. This step involves gathering information that will go into the report. Expert opinions and hard numbers often form the core of many business reports. The writer of the report may gather the secondary data or the primary data for gathering the information for the report. Collect your evidence before you write by observing, interviewing, doing research, and gathering data. Organize your evidence. Keep your evidence clear of your opinions. Make sure that personal base isn't knowing the evidence. Point number 4 in planning, design the structure of business report. There are several basic formats or approaches to write reports. The type that you use will depend on how format the report needs to be and how much detail your readers need. You can write internal reports like memorandum report, a letter style report, a short report, or a format report. All these points in the planning stage. In the second step or stage is the writing. Now that you have planned and prepared to write the report, it's time for writing. It's time to put it all together and write the report. When you start writing your report, you are really getting to the heart of your message. The writing included the tips and techniques to write good report, traps to avoid when writing reports, write the report itself. In writing, now you have to plan and prepare to write the report. In the first point here, we have the tips and techniques to write good report. When you write well, you are saving that you have thought about your message, have taken the time to understand the reader, and you want to send a positive image of yourself with a proper attitude, a respect for how words work together, and knowledge of usage conventions. Your writing can be clear, concise, complete, correct, and easy to read. Then we have some traps to avoid when writing reports, like not writing for the needs of the audience, including too much or too little information, being based, including factually incorrect information, poor sequence and structure. Then we will write the report. It's time to write the report. You know the purpose and the scope of your report. You have identified the audience and their specific needs. You have the structure of your report set up. You have gathered the relevant and factually correct information. The reporter should gather the internal and external information, the primary and secondary data to gather relevant and factual correct information. You understand how to ensure that your writing is clear, concise, complete, and correct. Then, in the final stage in writing reports, revising. Now that you have written the report, is taking the time to check the report to ensure that there are no errors or unfrozen errors, and to ensure a quality report. This is by proofread the content and do a quality check. In the proofreading, carelessly can spoil writer's best effects. Proofreading is classic evidence that writing looks different to the writer and to the reader. Our brains really think that everything we do is correct, so we have a hard time recognizing our own errors. So in the proofreading can show the writer's best effort. Proofreading is classic evidence. 2. Writer. Spelling errors may not mean all that much, so your finger is spilled. For the reader, an unfixed type can transform the writer from a smart person into careless writer in the twinkling of an eye. It's also impossible to read about first class work or short meeting without interrupting the flow of what you are reading. It may be unfair that proofreading matters so much, but it does. If you can put yourself in the reader's position, you will proofread obsessively, gripped by the fear that a mistake will turn you into a laughing stock. Learning some specific techniques, however, will help the problem as you become better at proofreading and creating better documents. Proofreading errors are different from punctuation or spelling or usage problems, and you fix them by learning. Then, here in the point of do a quality check. Do a quality check can be um, accurate and evidence in clear, concise, complete, correct. Do a quality check of your report. Make sure that it meets the 4 C's. Your report is clear. If it's fully understood at first reading, by concise, we mean that all information is known and to an intelligent and intelligible minimum. Your report is complete when every piece of essential information has been included. Finally, your report is correct when all information is both accurate and verifiable. We can say that the report is clear. When did you say what you wanted to say? Did you estimate ambiguous terms, many, less, etc.? Are your paragraph linked? Are your recommendation or conclusions easy to locate? And in the concise point, did you cut out all the fluff? Did you use an active voice as much as you could? Did you make effective use of graphs, charts, and graphics? And when we say that the report is complete, is all the necessary information there? Can you look at it and identify the 5 W's and how? Will your readers know what is going to happen next, what they are responsible for, and are references included if needed? And we can say that it's correct when answering. Did you check grammar, punctuation, and spelling? Are your facts and figures all correct? Are the readers' names, titles, company names, and addresses